It's a testament to Mario Kart World's quality that I've spent over 35 hours with it since launch last week, yet I still can't wait to play more. World is a breath of fresh air, but oddly enough, the biggest reasons it works so well aren't actually its shiny new features. When I'm racing through one of its excellent traditional courses, this feels like a worthy successor to the immaculate Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But when I'm roaming around its pleasant but fairly one-note map, or puttering down the lengthy straightaways that often separate its Grand Prix tracks, World doesn't make a convincing case that going open world was the boost Mario Kart needed. Thankfully, it still thrives on the same foundation Mario Kart built its legacy upon: incredible polish, a phenomenal soundtrack, precise controls that are deep but easily approachable, and a timeless ability to generate local multiplayer magic. World looks, sounds, and feels marvelous. The slightly more exaggerated art style is really nice on both a 4K TV and the Switch 2 screen itself, and I love how it's filled with delightful little details, like the way your cart wiggles around when you move the control stick. The soundtrack is also remarkable. Every note of its more than 200 songs helps write a love letter to Mario history, with nods to classic scores from the Super Nintendo like Donkey Kong Country and Yoshi's Island, odes to pretty much every past Mario Kart, and great fresh tunes to accompany the new courses. However, this is also where the first of many strange decisions arrives, as there's no way to listen to specific favorites. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe only got this option in a post-launch update, but it's baffling that didn't stick around here. So if you fall in love with a song you hear once, you just have to hope the DJ eventually plays it again. World takes big swings to reinvent the established Mario Kart formula, but the most consequential shakeup is its vast open world. Its 30 wonderful courses are connected by a series of roads, and nearly every mode makes use of these stretches of highway to varying degrees of success. For example, Grand Prix now has you complete 3 laps as usual on the first course, but then only 1 lap on the following 3, with the roadways connecting them counting as part of the race. The Versus Race mode does the same thing, and while there you can at least set it to the traditional 3-lap rule set, there's no dedicated online lobby for that option. The problem is that after the initial novelty wears off, those highway sections aren't nearly as interesting or memorable as the courses themselves, and you'll spend a serious amount of time on the interstate. Some of these stretches can be very fun, and there are definitely great moments to be found, but they're often also extremely wide and straight, leading to long portions of each race that aren't as demanding or enjoyable as the twists and turns of the dedicated levels. And even the exciting new parkour mechanics feel better suited to finding shortcuts on the courses themselves. The more time I spend with World's track lineup, the more impressed I am with it. My early favorites include Great Question Block Ruins, which has you bouncing off clouds and making sharp U-turns through a gorgeous golden temple in the sky. Then there's the adrenaline rush of the new Bowser's Castle, a test of your ability to handle high speeds that leads to intense sprints to the end. Strong reimaginings of returning courses are here too, including wonderful renditions of Toad's Factory, Wario Stadium, and many others. But my favorite track of all is easily Rainbow Road. World's take on the most iconic video game level around is the best the series has seen. It's a masterpiece from start to finish, and one moment I won't spoil gives me goosebumps every single time. The place where World makes the best use of its interconnected continent is in the new Knockout Tour mode. This extended race takes place over non-stop segments of highway, with the bottom 4 drivers getting eliminated at designated cutoff points. The results are thrilling, quickly becoming both a highlight of my playtime and the definitive option for playing online without a group. Ending someone else's race and saving yourself with a clutch shell is a feeling only topped by winning the whole thing. And I could feel my heart pounding whenever I crossed the finish line in first place online. Knockout Tour feels like the main piece of evidence to justify the open world format, as it just wouldn't have the same level of intensity on a standard track. That said, the item balance in Knockout Tour, and to some extent Mario Kart World in general, can feel a little too rubber bandy at times. That's been true of this series for decades, but it's even more extreme here. It's not uncommon to jump from the back of the pack to first in an instant if you're handed the right items at the right time. Each Mario Kart finds a different balance between the importance of skillful driving to get ahead and the value of item boxes to help you out, and World's combination of wide, straight roads and doubled field of 24 racers leans heavily in the direction of the latter. So sometimes Knockout Tour feels more like a game of chance, but it's still a great time if you go in with that expectation. It can be fun to strategize around the right time to make your move, which means the better racers will still rise to the top more often than not. And at least World's item toy box has some nice additions. There's nothing as groundbreaking as we've seen in past entries, but I love knocking opponents out of the air with the new hammers. Mario Kart is always at its best when you throw some friends into the mix, and this entry lives up to its series legacy as a fantastic local multiplayer game. World's most hilarious and exciting moments happen during split-screen play when 4 people are on the couch screaming at each other. Unfortunately, the online options are pretty bare bones. You still can't group up with your friends before joining a public versus race, meaning someone pretty much always has to wait a full round to get into the lobby. Knockout Tour was dealt an even worse hand, as playing with friends online is limited to private lobbies with bots to fill the empty seats, which is a real shame. However, one aspect of 8 Deluxe I don't miss at all when it comes to multiplayer is customizing my kart. The wide selection of options all look great and save some time compared to having to choose a body, wheels, and glider individually. I also adore the weird roster of characters in World, including off-the-wall additions like Mario Sunshine's Cataquack and the global superstar that is Cow. My go-to has been this Famicom costume for Mario, and this very dapper King Boo is another standout. But in another odd stumble, the way you unlock these costumes and characters is seriously strange, because it's essentially completely out of your control. Besides the small handful of characters you get by winning each cup in Grand Prix, all other unique drivers are unlocked when someone uses the Kamek item to transform you into a random character during a race. Costumes are similarly annoying to gather, relying on finding a variety of transforming food items with no discernible rhyme or reason to which unlocks what alternate outfit for who. It's just a massive guessing game. But hey, there's a Waluigi vampire outfit called Wampire, so I guess it's all worth it. I spent plenty of time as the Wampire driving around Free Roam, World's enjoyable but fairly uninspiring open world exploration mode. It litters hundreds of challenges and collectibles across the map, rewarding you with cute little stickers as you go. The P-Switch missions are the main draw. Their time-limited challenges range from teaching you basic driving techniques to testing your skill at the new parkour mechanics. They are largely fun to complete, and some of them are genuinely tough and require multiple attempts, but I felt like I'd seen multiple variations of everything they had to offer after just a few hours. They are also frustrating to keep track of, as there are hundreds of P-switches to find, but absolutely no indication on the map of which ones you've already completed and which regions you might be done with or need to search more. I do like Free Roam overall, and I'm still enjoying snagging the Peach medallions as they're often placed in tricky spots that really make you think about how you're going to get there. But if I were a kid on summer vacation, this would probably be my favorite mode. It's simple, pointless fun to commandeer a semi-truck and cause a huge traffic accident, or see how far I can glide to reach somewhere I've never been before. But it doesn't take long to see that it's more of a chill side dish rather than World's main course. And I mostly just pop in for a few minutes here and there between races, especially when it's not really set up for proper multiplayer, since none of the P-Switch challenges are available when playing with friends. I'm hoping this is just the start for World, and that Mario Kart 8's years of content updates set a precedent for what we can expect here as well. Nintendo hasn't mentioned any plans for DLC, but that's not surprising this close after launch. There are a lot of little things 8 got after release that are all of a sudden missing here. The ultra high-speed 200cc mode, the custom item menu, and plenty more that make it hard to consider World an outright replacement at the moment. That being said, its bones are so strong that I can see it one day surpassing 8 Deluxe with enough updates, even if it's still just trying to catch up before the next checkpoint for now. The Nintendo Switch 2 is officially off to the races, and Mario Kart World is a great way to get things started. The first brand new Mario Kart in a decade makes huge changes to the established formula, but ironically, the best parts about it closely follow the blueprint of every entry that's come before. Unbeatable local multiplayer racing on well-designed tracks that more than live up to the series' legacy. World's tight controls, celebratory soundtrack, and universal polish marvelously complement the action, and I can't wait to see how top players will take full advantage of its exciting parkour mechanics in the months and years ahead. The way Nintendo built 30 courses into an interconnected series of highways is undeniably impressive too, but Mario Kart's first attempt at an open world is also fairly uneven across its modes. The clear standout is Knockout Tour, a thrilling battle royale that makes the best use of World's intertwined roads. But when you add in frustrating online multiplayer limitations and some head-scratching design decisions around the interface and unlockables that will hopefully be fixed in future updates, World feels like it was hit with a blue shell right before the finish line. Still, Mario Kart World's chassis is so strong that with a few key tune-ups, I'm confident it will eventually end up popping champagne in Victory Lane.
Executive Reviews editor Tom Marks here with Logan Plant, reviewer of Mario Kart World. Logan has done a ton of first-party Nintendo game reviews for us in recent years. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Princess Peach Showtime, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. But let's talk about Mario Kart specifically, because Logan, I feel like you were just the best person to review this game for us. You have a long history with this series. Can you tell us a little bit about why you wanted to review a Mario Kart and just your history with the series in general?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I was thinking about this before Mario Kart World came out, and I'm not sure there's a series I've spent more total hours in than Mario Kart. I think it is probably my most played series of all time. If I just look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I have over 500 hours in the Switch version alone, and I played a ton of it on Wii U. I was there on launch day when it came to Wii U as one of the few proud Wii U owners at the time, and I just love this series. It's one of my earliest memories playing Mario Kart 64 and driving around Royal Raceway and going to Princess Peach's castle off the beaten path, which you could do, and now Mario Kart World is kind of an entire game of that. So I really wanted to do this one also because it's the start of a new Nintendo generation, and it was very important to me and exciting for me to be able to kind of review that big launch game and see how is Nintendo kicking off the Switch 2 generation. So that was a lot of fun too.
Well, let's talk about that specifically too, because we have these things on IGN.com that you actually kind of run called playlists, where you know, people can rank their favorites in a series or whatever and make their own little playlists. You have one for your favorites of Mario Kart World. So real quick, what are your top three? Why are those your favorite Mario Kart games?
My top three Mario Karts, number one is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and kind of Mario Kart 8. You can lump them together. That, I just think, is the pinnacle of that original formula that Mario Kart has always gone for, the 3-lap circuit racing. There's 96 tracks in that game after the booster course pass. I think Mario Kart 8 feels the best to control. It has an awesome lineup of characters. It brings back F-Zero in a really cool way with Mute City and Big Blue and other kind of guest characters like Link, Animal Crossing, Splatoon. So Mario Kart 8 is just the peak to me. It's one of the greatest Nintendo games of all time and the best game in the Mario Kart series. Number two is Double Dash. It's a lot of nostalgia. This is the one I played the most growing up. I love the 2-character on a cart mechanic. Some really iconic tracks come from Double Dash as well. And third, I would say, is now Mario Kart World. It did really impress me. I think it has some steps to go, like we talked about, but no, I think that it did beat out all the other ones just because of how much content is here, how good it looks, and how great it feels.
One of the things you do talk about in the review as well is that balance between a skill-heavy racer and an item sort of craziness racer within the Mario Kart series. And obviously Mario Kart is not trying to be, you know, Forza or whatever. It is not trying to be only that. It is a party game. But each game in the series kind of swings back and forth in how much emphasis it puts on one or the other. So my question for you is, do you have an example of kind of either end of that spectrum in the series when you think about a Mario Kart that's very skill heavy versus items, or the other way around? And then also, what's your preference if you had to make your ideal Mario Kart? Where would you put it on that spectrum?
Yeah, I think that Mario Kart 8, specifically actually the Wii U version, when you only had one item box, and if you dragged a turtle shell behind you, you couldn't even grab another one. So it was very much about the driving and the skill. That is kind of the highest ceiling, I think, of skill in a Mario Kart game. I think kind of on the other end of the spectrum, the craziness, chaos has to be Mario Kart Wii. That was a huge trend in the Wii era to make Nintendo games even more casual and approachable. We saw it with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It was the same in Mario Kart Wii. You could get a blue shell in 4th place from like the first item box of the race in that game. It was just chaos, pandemonium, still very fun, but just a different type of Mario Kart. I think that World leans closer to a Mario Kart Wii. My preference is to lean closer to a kind of more competitive, skill-based, driving, knowing your lines Mario Kart 8.
You also talk about some of, you know, you are very positive on this game, like we talked about. It's a good game. It's a great game. But there are some things that, you know, we're missing or you'd like to see in updates. And you do mention as well that, you know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got a ton of content updates over the years and became much bigger than it started out as. What's your wish list? Like, what would you really like to see either changed or updated to this Mario Kart in the coming, in the short term, like next year or two, let's say?
Number 1, Diddy Kong. We fought for 10 years to get Diddy Kong into Mario Kart 8. He wasn't there on Wii U. He wasn't there on Switch. He finally made it in the Booster Course Pass, and he's gone again. So I think that just kind of that's more of a joke. I do want him in the game, but on a wider level, I think that DLC Islands is probably the way forward for Mario Kart World. Like we talked about in the review, it's very impressive how these tracks are interconnected. But because of that, I think it's going to make it very difficult to add new tracks to the continent that we're already on. So I think you're going to have to add like a different island, like a Donkey Kong Island. Here's 4 interconnected courses. Here's Funky Kong, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, whoever, on kind of this separate area that you go to and race through. I think that's the way forward for content additions for Mario Kart World. But other than that, I think just more online features is what it needs. It's so bare bones. We need tournaments, more rules and custom lobbies, more ways to interact with this game with other players across the globe, because they even removed things like worldwide and regional lobbies, which was a choice that if you kind of wanted that tighter internet connection, you just kind of stick to regional. That's not even there either. Like the online is kind of a big step back even from Mario Kart 8. So I'd like to see them spruce that up a little bit, because this is a big online game for them. It's the big launch game, and I think that it's important that there's stuff here for people to stick around for months and years to come.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. My pitch for DLC levels?
Yeah.
They go Tears of the Kingdom style, and you go into tunnels under the map.
That'd be awesome. Oh, that'd be so cool.
And if you want more of our Nintendo Switch 2 coverage, I had a review of Welcome Tour go up, which you can check out. That's the technically only other exclusive launch game from Nintendo for this system.
Yeah.
Check that out. We've also got review updates for the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so you can check those out as well. And for everything else Switch 2 and gaming in general, you're already in the right place on IGN.